a terrifying video game where death on the screen means death in the real world. The film opens by showing footage from a game called Stay Alive. This survival horror game is a new title being tested by a professional gamer named Loomis. While playing as a male character, Loomis is tasked with solving every mystery within the game. However, during his first attempt, the character he controls is brutally killed by hanging. After finishing the session, Loomis immediately shares his experience with his friend Hutch, admitting that the game is extremely terrifying and sends his adrenaline racing. Not long after playing, Loomis begins to experience strange and unsettling things. He feels as if his every movement is being watched by an unseen presence, which makes him deeply uncomfortable. Suddenly, the creature he had only seen inside the game appears in the real world. Unable to escape, Loomis is ultimately killed in the same manner as the character he played in the game. The next day, the scene shifts to Hutch, who works as an office employee. At his workplace, Hutch has a boss named Miller, who also happens to be a gamer. Miller constantly talks about video games with Hutch, who shares the same hobby.
I'm sorry, we're not still talking about Silent Hill 4, are we? I mean, it's got unlimited ammo, nullifies the secret.
I need it to get to the final boss.
Well, and beat her straight up.
Now, the walkthrough says I dumped the ammo and the boss dies. Yeah, I have the hyperplex.
Dump it.
You put as much effort into clerking as you did in the gaming?
Yeah, damn, all right.
At the same time, Hutch receives a call from Loomis's parents informing him that Loomis has passed away and that the funeral will be held later that day. Shocked by the news, Hutch immediately attends the funeral. Loomis's sudden death deeply affects everyone, especially Hutch. During the funeral procession, Hutch notices a woman named Abigail who keeps taking photos around the cemetery. Abigail is present because she was invited by Loomis's sister, who has just arrived from out of town. Loomis's sister gives Hutch a bag filled with Loomis's video games, explaining that she needs to focus on school and will no longer be able to play his brother's games. Before parting ways, Abigail gives Hutch her phone number, just in case Hutch needs someone to talk to.
You and Loomis must have been close.
Yeah, we were close.
If you need to talk, it's my number.
After returning from Loomis's funeral, Hutch goes to an internet cafe owned by his two friends, October and Finn, who are siblings. There, Finn checks the bag of video games that once belonged to Loomis and discovers a game titled Stay Alive, which is still in beta testing. It turns out to be the last game Loomis played before his death. Without much hesitation, Finn invites Hutch to play the game as a way of honoring Loomis.
What's in the bag?
Video games.
Any good titles in the bag?
I'm not sure.
Damn, y'all.
He was, playing that the night he died.
So he was a real gamer, huh?
Yeah.
Stay Alive? Never heard of it.
I know he did some beta testing.
How'd he get his hands on it, man? Yeah, this could be nice.
Besides Hutch, October, and Finn, several others join the gaming session, including Abigail and a hardcore gamer named Swink. Miller is also invited by Hutch to participate, although he joins remotely from his office. Once everyone has gathered, they prepare everything needed for the gaming session and begin playing Stay Alive. At the start of the game, they are directed to a text screen titled The Prayer of Elizabeth. Strangely, the text cannot be skipped. Eventually, Swink suggests that the game requires voice interaction, meaning the players must read the displayed text aloud. Without thinking twice, they recite the prayer together.
Come to me, clouds.
May you rise as an evil storm.
Let the blood of many cleanse me.
Moments after they finish reading it, a shadowy figure briefly appears behind them. They are then prompted to create their individual characters before the game officially begins. In this survival horror game, the players must uncover hidden mysteries while defeating the main demonic antagonist. The rules are clear: they must stay alive, because if their character dies in the game, they cannot continue playing. Set in a cemetery within the grounds of an old mansion, they must fight off numerous childlike demonic spirits that attack without warning. They are also required to collect items such as roses, which can be used to repel the spirits. Since roses are rare items, they must carefully search every corner of the area. In addition to roses, there are also silver mirror items that can be used to ward off the demons. Feeling that the game was incredibly challenging, the six of them unknowingly spent nearly 2 hours playing it.
Hell yeah, feel it in my pants, baby.
Where?
Right there. Is something in that wardrobe?
Sweet Jesus, these dead bitches are coming out in droves!
Come on! It's okay, man. You'll eat my nails.
Left! God damn it, you noob!
The childlike demons that appeared were easily defeated. Eventually, after passing through the cemetery area, Miller's character becomes separated from the others. While exploring a room, his character is killed by a noblewoman demon in a red dress named Elizabeth, who appears to be the main antagonist of the game. Miller has run out of roses, leaving him unable to repel the spirit.
Some sort of sick torture room, or I'm out of goddamn roses, man. God damn it, man. Countess, you know, man, she got me.
Meanwhile, his friends remain inside the house, repeatedly asking Miller about the location of the room he is in. Miller explains that he is inside a torture chamber. Since it is already late at night, they decide to end the gaming session. As Miller prepares to leave, he begins to sense the presence of an unseen figure watching him. Fear slowly creeps in, especially since he is alone in the office. Soon, terrifying events begin to unfold around him. In a horrifying turn of events, Elizabeth's spirit, the same one who killed his character in the game, suddenly appears in the real world and brutally takes his life.
Loomis. Perceptive reality.
The next day, Hutch is shocked by the news that Miller has been found dead in his office. He cannot believe that his boss died right after they played together the previous night. What is even more disturbing is that Miller's cause of death is identical to the way his character died in the game. However, Miller's death does not seem to alarm Finn at all. He still believes the game they played is incredibly exciting and even plans to play it again without the others.
Didn't you say Miller was stabbed to death, Hutch? Well, you pay respect to gamers by gaming, so let's boot it up!
Now shut the goddamn game up.
Why don't you guys get out of here and let me play in peace? But I think you guys are overreacting just a little bit.
Meanwhile, Hutch and Swink begin to grow suspicious. They start to question whether the unreleased game might actually be cursed. After all, every in-game death seems to mirror the player's death in real life. Loomis died by hanging, just like his character, and Miller was stabbed in the same manner as his character in the game. Realizing this, the four of them quickly return to Finn, who is once again playing Stay Alive.
Come on, honey, we just gotta relax.
What are you doing, man?
Upon closer inspection, Finn's character should have already been killed by a horse-drawn carriage, but he pauses the game just in time. As a result, the death does not immediately affect him. Shortly after, Finn decides to step outside for a while. Sensing that something was terribly wrong, Hutch goes to the office to search the internet for information about Loomis's death. He gathers as much evidence as possible to show his friends, since they still refuse to believe that the game is truly cursed. After collecting enough information, Hutch explains that the game they played has already claimed the lives of Loomis and Miller. The game seems to bind the souls of its players to the characters they control. If their character dies, the player will also die in the real world in the exact same way. That is why the game is titled Stay Alive, because its one and only rule is to survive at all costs.
Okay, so we all saw that Loomis's neck was broken and he was hung in the game. Miller was stabbed to death. Call me crazy, call me paranoid, I don't give a shit. This can't just be some coincidence. They all died the same way they died in the game.
October agrees with this theory. She explains that the main demon in the game, Elizabeth, is inspired by a real historical figure. Every element in the game is based on the dark history of a noblewoman named Elizabeth Bathory. During her lifetime, Elizabeth was infamous for her cruelty. She was said to have performed human sacrifice rituals in order to preserve her youthful beauty. Using her horse-drawn carriage, she abducted young women and turned them into victims so she could remain young. That is why the game features numerous childlike demonic spirits believed to represent Elizabeth's victims. Elizabeth is also portrayed as being unable to bear the sight of her aging face, which is why mirrors crack whenever they are used against her in the game. When her atrocities were finally exposed, Elizabeth was captured and tortured to death inside the tower of her own mansion. Before she died, she swore that she would return to kill many more people. October believes that Elizabeth's spirit has indeed returned and is now spreading terror through the video game.
I think you're right. The tower.
The cemetery, the torture chamber. She'd hunt for victims in a black carriage. Detail of this game is based on her real life. The last thing she said was that one day she'd be back.
After waiting for quite some time, they begin to realize that Finn has not arrived at the agreed location. Panic starts to set in, and they immediately try to contact him. It turns out that Finn is in a strange and disturbing situation. He is being haunted by a childlike demon from the game, which causes him to nearly crash into a tree. Shortly afterward, Finn receives a call from October and quickly tells her his current location. He does not feel panicked at all because he is convinced that his character in the game has not truly died since he paused the game before the fatal moment occurred. Hearing this, Hutch, October, and Abigail rush to pick him up. However, when they arrive at the scene, Finn is already lying lifeless in the middle of the road. Before they could reach him, he was struck and killed by a horse-drawn carriage.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm awesome. That's right! I didn't die in the game, baby!
Hutch and Swink immediately check the game Stay Alive and discover that Finn's character has indeed been killed by a carriage. They attempt to explain the existence of the cursed game to the police, but in such circumstances, the officers refuse to believe a single word from Hutch and Swink. One of the officers even deliberately plays the game, insisting that a video game like this could never kill anyone. Not long after he starts playing, his character dies in a gruesome manner inside the game.
How do you do this thing?
We have to read that. I don't think you...
Shut up.
Hey, don't play that game.
Come on.
I got it. I just think it would be better if no one plays.
I'm gonna look into this, but you're gonna have to go home, Hutch.
After that, Hutch is forced to face the bitter reality alongside the friends who remain. An argument becomes unavoidable, and this time Hutch is immediately blamed for inviting them to play the game. However, since they have already played it, there is no choice but to confront the cursed game together. They begin dividing tasks. October and Swink will search for more information about Elizabeth, while Hutch and Abigail decide to go to Loomis's house to investigate the developer behind the game Stay Alive.
Why did you have to bring that game into our lives, Hutch? I don't want anybody else to get hurt. I need to stay with Swink and take care of some things for Finn. I want you to go and find out everything you can about this game. Abigail, I want you to stay with Hutch.
Meanwhile, the police officer who had previously played Stay Alive deliberately goes to a game store to look for a copy of the game. However, he fails to obtain it because the game has not been officially released yet. It is at that very moment, while he is sitting inside his car, that the final seconds of his life begin to unfold.
I need information on a horror game called Stay Alive.
Let me guess. Maybe it's underground. Never heard of it.
Probably some sort of underground game or something.
Back to Hutch. Upon arriving at Loomis's house, he and Abigail immediately break in through a window. Inside Loomis's bedroom, they discover a device given to him by the game's developer, complete with the address of the developer's office. Without hesitation, Hutch quickly relays the address to Swink and October. Meanwhile, October is researching how to defeat the demon Elizabeth. She discovers that to destroy her, they must drive 3 nails into her body, each one pierced into the heart, the neck, and the forehead. After that, all of her blood must be burned completely.
We need to put 3 nails. The nails are going to put her human spirit back into her body. An undead soul is only cleansed by burning its blood.
I just can't believe this is happening.
However, they do not have time to study this information in greater detail when Swink and October see news reporting the death of a police officer. The incident clearly puts them in greater danger, prompting the two of them to flee immediately. They then gather at Loomis's house to discuss their next move. There, they recall how they became trapped in the cursed game in the first place. It turns out that their souls were bound to the game because they read the text that appeared at the beginning of the game. That text was actually a spell, a pact between the players and the demon within the game. Without realizing it, they had agreed to the contract. While discussing this, they suddenly realize that the game will continue running automatically if it is not played for a certain period of time. This explains why Finn still died, even though he had paused the game before his character was killed. The game continued to run on its own, even without any player controlling it. On the laptop screen, they see that the game is now running automatically using October's character. At the same time, October is outside the house, completely unaware that her character is being controlled by the system. She is then shown entering an abandoned house after witnessing a disturbing apparition inside. Determined to defeat the demon Elizabeth, October fearlessly goes to the house to confront her. Unfortunately, Elizabeth cannot be attacked at all, and in the end, October is the one who is killed.
October!
After that incident, the three of them decide to immediately head to the location of the developer behind the game. On the way there, Swink suggests that he remain inside the car while continuing to play his character so that the game will not run automatically like before. Hutch and Abigail agree to the plan. Upon arriving at the location, Hutch and Abigail walk into an area that does not resemble an office at all. Instead, it looks like an old house that has long been abandoned and left to decay. At this point, Swink begins to realize that the structure of the building is identical to the one inside the game, and he guides Hutch remotely through communication. Hutch is then directed toward an old gate that leads into a cemetery. At the far end of the cemetery stands a large, aged mansion with a towering spire rising above it. Everything about the place looks exactly the same as it does in the game.
Holy shit. I need you to get to the back door of the house. Move through the archway, not the doorway, and back into the hall.
What's going on, Swink? How do you know all this?
Do you see the iron gates?
Yeah, I see them. Oh, Jesus Christ. This is Carouge Plantation.
Meanwhile, Abigail remains inside the house and decides to enter a hidden room concealed within a wardrobe. Inside, she discovers numerous mysterious documents belonging to the game's developer. The documents reveal that the developer conducted extensive research into the life of Elizabeth Bathory while creating the game, unknowingly turning it into something cursed. It is even possible that the original developer of the game may have died because of the very game he created. Suddenly, Abigail's life is put in danger. Realizing this, Hutch quickly rushes back into the house to find her. After moving swiftly through the building, he manages to locate Abigail. Fortunately, Swink is able to assist by using his character inside the game. In other words, the character Swink is controlling can directly interact with Hutch and Abigail in the real world.
I need a crowbar.
Wait. Do you see one on the step? I have a key.
I don't think I'm gonna make it. You gotta help me.
I know.
Unfortunately, this help makes Swink the next target. As he tries to escape the game's automatic traps, Swink can do nothing but run into the forest while being chased by a horse-drawn carriage. However, fate is not on his side, and he eventually becomes trapped among the rose bushes.
You never know, and I bet...
No!
Oh,
Now only Hutch and Abigail remain, and they have no choice but to complete the final mission. They begin searching for the 3 required nails while gathering as many roses as possible from the yard to fight the demon. Once they feel sufficiently prepared, they enter the old mansion with the goal of reaching the tower at the top.
Okay, we're gonna need a hammer.
However, the bad news is that both Hutch and Abigail no longer have many roses left. Most of them have already been used to survive the journey toward the upper floors. To make matters worse, Abigail is suddenly forced to separate from Hutch. Despite the increasingly dangerous situation, they both understand that after coming this far, giving up is not an option. To end everything once and for all, Hutch rushes toward Elizabeth's chamber at the top of the tower. Meanwhile, in a different location, Abigail comes face to face with Elizabeth's spirit. At one point, she is left hanging helplessly, unable to do anything. Fortunately, Hutch manages to drive the 3 nails into place at the right moment, saving Abigail's life.
Okay, let's split up.
However, the terror is not over. Elizabeth's corpse suddenly rises again within seconds, this time targeting Hutch. Though startled, Hutch forces himself to stay calm. He quickly uses the reflection from his laptop screen, forcing Elizabeth to see her own face aging rapidly. As she begins to weaken, Hutch seizes the opportunity to burn all of her blood as quickly as possible, hoping his efforts will not be in vain.
Mirrors? Why were they shattered?
Moments later, Hutch is shocked to see Swink reappear, still alive. It turns out that Swink did not truly die because he had fallen into a patch of wild roses, which serve as protection against the demons in the game. With the main demon finally burned, the three of them successfully finished the game and put an end to the curse that had been haunting them. In the final scene, a game store called Game Station is shown now selling Stay Alive. However, this version of the game is no longer cursed, as it has been remade and can now be played safely by anyone. And with that, the story comes to an end.